I stared at my phone in the dim light of my corner office at Sterling and Hale, the city's premier corporate law firm. The text from Mom glowed like an unwelcome reminder, "Don't bother coming to Thanksgiving." Liam's girlfriend is a rising star attorney at a boutique firm. We're toasting her big case win. It'd be awkward with you there, just doing behind-the-scenes stuff. I was the managing partner, overseeing 312 attorneys across 3 offices. I'd turned around 2 failing practices in 5 years, landing us on the Forbes list of top firms. But to my family, I was Sophia, the office manager, not a real lawyer, because I didn't argue in courtrooms anymore. I typed back, "Got it." My executive assistant, Jordan, poked his head in. "Ms. Reyes, the partners want your final pitch on the mergers division expansion by December 1st. Interviews for the head of litigation are set for the 28th, 3 finalists. Forward their profiles," I said, eyes on my dual screens where case analytics streamed. "I'll vet them tonight." What Mom didn't know was that I wasn't just a lawyer. I decided which lawyers rose to power in one of the West Coast's elite firms. Growing up, Liam cast a long shadow, charming, outgoing, captain of every team. I was the introvert, buried in books while he shone at parties. Dad, a car dealership owner, prized charisma and deals. Liam had it all. I had straight A's and solitude. "Sophia's smart," Dad would say dismissively at barbecues. But Liam? He closed that student council election like a pro, full scholarship offers pouring in. When I got into Harvard Law, Dad glanced up from the game. "Nice, kid. Liam, tell Em about your sales internship, 6 figures potential." Law school crushed me. I clerked nights to cover loans while Liam's college was bankrolled. "Sports build character," Dad justified. "Liam can't waste time working." I graduated with $280,000 debt. Liam walked with a business degree, no loans, and a job at Dad's buddy's firm earning $58,000. Proud of our duo, Dad posted online 8 pics of Liam's ceremony, 1 cropped shot of me. My path to firm management wasn't real lawyering. "You're not even in trials," Dad scoffed. "What's the point if you're shuffling schedules?" "I optimize operations that win multi-million cases," I'd explain. But then, Liam's dating a marketer now, sharp as a tack. Those relationships fizzled fast: a consultant, 5 months, an event planner, 7, a designer, 4. Family meals spotlighted Liam's latest Flames triumphs while I picked at salad, fielding "How's the firm admin gig?" before talk swung back. When I became director of operations at Vanguard Law at 28, Dad asked if it meant courtroom time. At 31, as managing partner at Sterling and Hale, one of the youngest in the state, Dad said, "Cool. Liam just hit regional sales manager." I stopped sharing wins. They went unnoticed. I bought a sleek condo downtown with skyline views. Never invited them. They never inquired. I dated sparingly, work devoured me, revamping inefficient teams, negotiating vendor deals, rolling out protocols that boosted win rates by 52%. Meaningful impact, even if I wasn't the one cross-examining witnesses. To family, I was Sophia, the coordinator. The desk jockey. The not real lawyer. What they missed was the powerhouse I'd forged. Sterling and Hale teetered on collapse when I joined 4 years back, client churn high, losses at $92 million yearly. The old managing partner got axed, the board eyed a buyout. "Ms. Reyes," the chair grilled in my interview, "can you salvage this?" My 38-slide strategy sealed it. Hired next day. In months, I overhauled divisions, axed 7 slackers the prior leader feared touching. Recruited stars nationwide. Cut overhead by 41%. Landed better insurer packs. By year 2, profitable. By 3, top-ranked regionally. Board bonused me $280,000, debt erased. Stock options hit $980,000. Salary climbed to $412,000 plus incentives. Last year, total $539,000. But power trumped cash. I greenlit hires, budgets, expansions. Clients courted me. Rivals poached me with offers I declined. I chaired legal panels, keynote conferences, consulted for $12,000 daily. In law circles, Sophia Reyes commanded respect. At home? Still the admin shadow. Liam introduced Vanessa at Halloween brunch. She's a litigator, Mom beamed pre-call. Fresh off a huge settlement. Dad's over the moon. I arrived with scotch and pie. Vanessa dominated, sleek suit, recounting courtroom dramas while parents rapped. Sophia, Mom inserted weekly, works at a firm too, in ops. Vanessa's nod was curt. Admin keeps things running, I suppose. Dad chuckled. Sophia's not the spotlight type. Liam got the flair. I dined silently as Vanessa boasted a high-profile fraud case, peppering with "as a trial lawyer, you get the adrenaline," sidelining my role. Post-meal, I overheard in the den, "Your sister's quiet," Vanessa to Liam. "Yeah, Sof's always been the background player," he replied. Dad says she squandered her degree on desk work. Not everyone's cut for the courtroom, Vanessa pitted. I bailed early, citing briefs. No pleas to linger. Weeks later, Mom's text about Thanksgiving stung. November 22nd, Jordan entered oddly. Ms. Reyes, check this. Vanessa Hale's resume for head of litigation, a $360,000 role I'd crafted, with bonus pool access and team-building clout. She's a finalist, Jordan noted. Interviews on the 28th. Vanessa had no clue I ran the show. Firm leadership stayed low-key, I shunned press. She'd cleared prelims with my committee, now facing me for the decider. Slot her last at 3 p.m., I said evenly. Jordan's knowing glance, he'd heard my holiday gripes. I spent Thanksgiving solo in my condo, grilling salmon, binging docs, scrolling past Liam's posts, Vanessa toasting with family. Caption, surrounded by winners, texted Liam happy Thanksgiving at 8 p.m. Reply at 10:32, thanks. Vanessa fits right in. November 28th dawned crisp. I suited up, charcoal blazer, silk top, subtle pearls. My plaque, Sophia Reyes, JD, managing partner. First two interviews impressed, Dr. Elias Grant from Yale, trial wizard, attorney Mia Torres from Gibson Dunn, settlement shark. Jordan buzzed at 2:45. Ms. Hale's here. 5 minutes, then my office. I skimmed her file, solid, Columbia law, clerkships, for years litigating, decent wins, refs glowing. On paper, contender. Voices neared, Jordan's polish, excited for the role? Vanessa's poise, absolutely, your managing partners turned this place around. She's exceptional, Jordan said. Looking forward to meeting him. Her, Jordan corrected. Knock. Send her in. Vanessa entered, smile fixed, hand out, then froze, eyes widening in shock. Hello, Ms. Hale, I said, voice level, standing behind the wide walnut desk. Please, take a seat. Vanessa's hand hovered in midair, the professional smile frozen into something brittle. Her eyes darted from my face to the nameplate, Sophia Reyes, JD, managing partner, then swept the wall behind me, Harvard Law diploma, bar admissions in 3 states, framed American lawyer profile piece naming me one of the most influential women in law last year, a discreet row of commendations from the State Bar Association. Recognition crashed over her in waves. You're the managing partner? The words came out thin, almost a question to herself. Yes. I gestured again toward the chair. We have a great deal to cover. The interview is being recorded for quality and compliance purposes, as noted in the candidate acknowledgement you signed. The red light on the camera above the bookshelf is already on. She lowered herself slowly, like someone stepping onto thin ice. Her navy blazer suddenly looked too tight across the shoulders, her fingers tightened around the slim leather portfolio in her lap. I opened her file, letting the quiet stretch just long enough for the weight of the moment to settle. Impressive credentials on paper, Ms. Hale. Columbia Law, top of your section, federal clerkship, for years at Kessler and Brandt with solid trial experience. You've handled some high-profile matters. Congratulations on the recent $18 million settlement in the biotech fraud case. That made headlines. Thank you, she managed. Her voice had lost its earlier confidence, it sounded smaller in the room. I flipped to the next page. I've reviewed your trial logs. 87 contested matters over 4 years, win rate of 71%, average settlement value strong for a mid-tier boutique. You're clearly capable in the courtroom. She gave a tiny nod, waiting for the but. But this role isn't only about courtroom wins, I continued smoothly. The head of litigation at Sterling and Hale runs a 62-attorney department with a $42 million annual budget. You'll have full P&L responsibility, recruitment authority, client relationship oversight, and the mandate to build an appellate and complex litigation practice from the ground up. We're looking for someone who can do more than win cases. We need someone who can lead a business unit disguised as a legal department. Vanessa swallowed. I understand the scope. I've been preparing for a step up like this. Have you? I tilted my head slightly. Let's talk leadership, then. How many attorneys have you directly supervised? 2 associates and a paralegal on most of my major matters. Directly managed, meaning performance reviews, bonus allocation, firing authority? A pause. No. The partners handled that. I made a small check mark on the evaluation sheet. Budget responsibility? I've submitted equipment and expert witness requests, and I've been involved in fee negotiations on a few cases. Negotiated with insurance carriers for multimillion-dollar coverage disputes? Recruited lateral partners from competing firms? Developed training programs for junior associates? Her jaw tightened. Not yet. But I'm a quick study. I've always been thrown into the deep end and figured it out. I looked up, meeting her eyes directly. We don't have time to teach someone how to swim here, Ms. Hale. We need the person who already knows the strokes and can teach the rest of the team. She shifted in the chair. With respect, I've been in the trenches. I know what it takes to win big cases. The administrative side. I can learn that quickly. The administrative side, I repeated quietly, letting the phrase hang between us, is what keeps the lights on and the clients coming back. It's what turns a good litigator into a rainmaker who can sustain a practice group for a decade. You've dismissed that work as behind-the-scenes stuff in the past. I'm curious why you believe you're ready to lead it now. Color rose in her cheeks. I never said. You didn't have to. I kept my tone even, professional. At Halloween brunch you described your work as the real lawyering, the adrenaline of trial, the spotlight. You implied that people who handle operations, strategy, and systems are support staff. Paperwork people. You said it with a smile, but the meaning was clear. Vanessa's lips parted, closed again. That was casual conversation. Family talk. I didn't know. You didn't know who I was, I finished for her. And that's the point. You assumed the person running operations was unimportant. Now you're sitting across from that person, deciding whether you deserve to report to them. She looked down at her hands, then back up, a spark of defiance flickering. Are you telling me this interview is over before it started? Because of one offhand comment at a brunch? No, Ms. Hale. I'm telling you this interview is exactly the same as the ones I conducted with the other 2 candidates this afternoon. They were asked the same questions. They were evaluated on the same criteria. The difference is they had answers that demonstrated readiness for this level of responsibility. You do not, yet.
Marcus barked out a laugh. You ran a background check on your own family? I run due diligence on everyone, I corrected. Investors, partners, anyone with access to anything that matters. My father's face darkened. You're calling me a liability? I didn't blink. You already are. I slid the folder toward him. His hands trembled just barely, but enough for all 3 of his sons to notice. He opened it. Read the first page. Read the second. The blood drained from his face like someone pulled a plug. Julian's voice cracked. "Dad, what is it?" He didn't answer. So I did. "Debt," I said. "Crippling amounts." Marcus frowned. "What are you talking about?" "Dad mortgaged the estate twice. Took out a third high-risk loan last year. The commercial buildings he brags about? Vacant. The properties are underwater. Foreclosure proceedings already filed." My mother let out a strangled gasp. "Alexander, tell her she's lying." He couldn't. His silence was louder than any confession. Julian shot to his feet, chair skidding across the floor. "You told us the business was thriving. You said we'd inherit." "You're inheriting debt," I said. "A legacy of smoke and excuses." My father slammed the folder shut, but his shaking hands betrayed him. "You had no right to investigate me," he snapped. I leaned forward, voice calm and surgical. "You lied to your entire family. You pretended you had an empire when all you had left was paperwork and panic." Marcus looked sick. "So everything you promised, everything we counted on." "It was never real," I said. "Not for a long time." My mother's voice wavered, desperate. "Sophia. Sweetheart. You can help us. You have the means. You can save the house." I stood up slowly. "No." Julian's voice cracked with rage. "Why not? You have billions." I met his eyes without flinching. "And none of you gave a damn about me until you saw the number." Silence. Heavy, choking, undeniable. Because every one of them knew it was true.
I walked to the door and opened it. Jordan waited in the hallway, expression carefully neutral. "Jordan, please show Ms. Hale out." "Thank you for coming in today, Ms. Hale. You'll receive our decision by December 5th. She didn't move at first. Then, eyes bright, she walked past me without another word. I closed the door, returned to my desk, and opened a blank recommendation memo. The cursor blinked. I began typing. The cursor blinked on the screen like a patient heartbeat. I typed the subject line first. Litigation Department Head, Final Recommendation. Date, November 28, 2025. Time, 4:12 p.m. Then the body. After thorough evaluation of the 3 finalists, I recommend extending an unconditional offer to attorney Mia Torres. Her trial record, leadership experience, current supervision of 14 associates, demonstrated budget oversight, and appellate expertise make her the clear first choice. Attorney Elias Grant is a strong second should Ms. Torres decline. Ms. Vanessa Hale does not meet the required threshold for this senior leadership position. Detailed scoring matrices, interview transcripts, and supporting documentation are attached. I will present this recommendation at the Executive Committee meeting tomorrow morning. Sophia Reyes, J.D. Managing Partner. I attached the files, hit send, and leaned back. The office was silent except for the distant hum of the HVAC and the faint clatter of keyboards from the bullpen beyond the glass walls. My phone lit up at 5:38 p.m. Liam. I let it ring through to voicemail. At 5:51, again. Then a text. "What the fuck, Soph? Vanessa just got home in tears. She said you humiliated her in the interview. You're seriously doing this? Call me." I set the phone face down. At 6:19 p.m., Mom. "Sophia honey, Vanessa is devastated. She said the interview felt like an ambush. I know things were awkward at brunch, but she's going to be part of the family soon. Can't you at least give her a fair shot? For Liam?" I didn't reply. Dad at 6:47. I just heard. You're the one running the whole damn firm? Since when? You never said anything. Look, Vanessa's a good lawyer. Fix this. She's family now. I answered that one. Hello, Dad. A beat of surprise. Sophia. You picked up. How was Thanksgiving? I asked. Don't play games. Vanessa said you grilled her like she was on trial, asked questions no one could answer. She thinks you're punishing her because of what she said about your job. I asked her the exact same questions I asked the other two candidates. They answered them. She didn't. You're the managing partner? His voice had an edge of disbelief, as if the title had just become real. You run the place? 3 years now. I oversee 312 attorneys, 3 offices, a 9-figure book of business. I make the final call on every partner track hire and department head. Silence stretched. Then, you never told us it was that big. I tried. 4 years. You changed the subject to Liam's sales numbers. He exhaled hard. Vanessa's going to be Liam's wife. This puts him in a terrible spot. Then she should have considered that before she told a room full of people that operations work is just behind-the-scenes stuff and implied I wasn't practicing real law. That was casual talk. It was dismissive. And now she's learning that the person she dismissed holds the keys to one of the most coveted litigation leadership roles on the West Coast. You're being vindictive. I'm being consistent. The committee will review my recommendation tomorrow. They almost always follow it. If Vanessa wants to file a grievance, she's welcome to. The recording is timestamped, the questions standardized, the evaluation criteria identical for all candidates. Good luck with that narrative. Dad's voice dropped. You're making this personal. No, Dad. I made my job impersonal a long time ago. That's why the firm is thriving. I ended the call before he could respond. The rest of the evening was a cascade. Liam left 2 more voicemails, each angrier. You're ruining my relationship over some power trip? Vanessa's talking about filing a complaint. You really want that headache? Mom texted a string of guilt-laced pleas. Please reconsider. For family. We just want everyone to get along. This is cruel, Sophia. At 8:22 p.m. an unknown number. I answered. Sophia Reyes. A woman's voice, tight with barely contained fury. This is Vanessa Hale. You can't do this to me. I already did, Ms. Hale. The recommendation is sent. You humiliated me on purpose. You wanted me to fail. I wanted you to demonstrate readiness for a role you applied for. You didn't. This is retaliation. I'm going to the Bar Association. I'm going to HR. I'm going to. The Bar Association reviews ethical violations, not hiring decisions. HR reports to me. And every word of that interview is preserved. You'll find the process was scrupulously fair. Her breathing was audible. You're jealous. Because Liam's life looks perfect and yours is just paperwork. I let the line hang for 2 seconds. If that's the story you want to tell yourself, go ahead. But the next time you walk into a high-stakes interview, maybe don't assume the person across the desk is unimportant. You never know who's actually holding the pen. She started to speak again, something about unfairness, about family, but I cut the call cleanly. I stood, walked to the floor-to-ceiling window, and looked out over the city lights glittering like scattered diamonds. The skyline had never felt more mine. Tomorrow the committee would meet. They would almost certainly approve Mia Torres. And when they did, another piece of the empire I'd built would click into place. My family could keep their holiday photos and their toasts. I had something better. I had results. The executive committee meeting started at 8 a.m. sharp on November 29. 12 senior partners, the chief operating officer, and the chair of the compensation committee sat around the long black table on the 42nd floor. Floor-to-ceiling glass framed the winter morning fog rolling across the bay. I stood at the head, clicker in hand, no notes. I never needed them. Agenda item 4, the chair said. Litigation department head. Sophia, the floor is yours. I advanced the first slide. 3 columns. 3 names. Side-by-side evaluation scores, color-coded red amber green. Vanessa Hale's column was almost entirely amber with 2 stark red cells. Mia Torres leads on every measurable dimension, I began. 78% win rate in contested matters over 6 years, current supervision of 14 associates and 3 partners, proven P&L management on a $40 million book, appellate arguments in both federal circuits and state Supreme Court. She's already doing the job we're hiring for, just at a different firm. Elias Grant is excellent backup, aggressive trial style, strong client relationships, slightly thinner on budget experience. I clicked to the next slide. Vanessa's name alone. Ms. Hale is a capable mid-level litigator. Her trial record is solid for a boutique environment. But she has no direct supervisory experience beyond 2 associates, no budget authority, limited appellate exposure, and 0 demonstrated ability to recruit or develop a practice group. Her answers yesterday confirmed she views operations and leadership as secondary skills she can acquire on the job. We don't hire for potential at this level. We hire for proven execution. A ripple of nods. One partner, older, from the old guard, lifted a finger. She's got a strong personal reference from Judge Harlan. That still carries weight. It does, I said. I spoke to Judge Harlan this morning at 7:15. He confirmed she's smart, tenacious, and good in the courtroom. He also said, and I quote, "She's not ready to run the show. She needs another 5 years of seasoning." The room went still. The chair cleared his throat. Motion to approve the offer to Mia Torres at $375,000 base, standard equity grant, and the agreed performance bonus structure. Hands rose in near unison. 1 abstention. The old guard partner. Motion carries, the chair said. Sophia, extend the offer today. Congratulations on another clean pick. I nodded once. Already drafted. I'll call her at 10 o'clock. The meeting moved on to compensation pools. I stayed silent, watching the city slowly emerge from the fog. By 10:17 a.m., Mia Torres had accepted. She would start January 15th. The announcement would go firm-wide at noon. I was halfway through reviewing the merger agreement for a 9-figure tech acquisition when my phone vibrated again. This time, it was an unknown number with a local prefix I didn't recognize. I let it go to voicemail. 30 seconds later, a text from the same number. This is Vanessa Hale. I've just been informed you recommended against me and the committee followed. I'm giving you one chance to reverse this before I retain counsel and file a formal complaint for discrimination and retaliation. You have until 5 p.m. today. I stared at the message for a long moment, then saved the contact as VH, litigation applicant. At 11:03, Liam called. I picked up. Sophomore. Liam. You're really doing this? His voice was low, almost shaking. Vanessa's lawyer is already drafting something. She's talking about hostile work environment, abuse of authority, conflict of interest. She says she has witnesses from Thanksgiving who'll testify you had a grudge. She's welcome to try, I said. The entire interview is recorded. Every question is identical to the others. The scoring is documented. The committee, none of whom know or care about our family, approved the decision unanimously. You're destroying my life over your ego. No. I'm protecting the firm I rebuilt. There's a difference. Silence. Then, quieter, she's threatening to go public. To the legal blogs. To the press. Top law firm managing partner sabotages fiancé of brother over petty family grudge. You ready for that kind of headline? I leaned back in my chair. I've handled worse press. Remember the 2022 partner defection scandal? We came out stronger. If Vanessa wants to burn her own reputation trying to spin a failed interview into a discrimination claim, that's her choice. But she should know I've already forwarded the full file, video, transcripts, evaluation matrices, to our general counsel and the firm's outside ethics advisor. They're prepared. You've thought of everything, haven't you? His tone was bitter, almost admiring, I've spent 15 years thinking of everything so people couldn't use family ties or personal grudges to damage what I built. Another long pause. She's going to leave me, he said finally. She blames me for bringing her into this. Says if I'd warned her who you really were, then maybe she should have asked. I ended the call. At 12:03 p.m., the firm-wide email went out. Leadership announcement, new head of litigation. Mia Torres will join Sterling and Hale as head of litigation effective January 15, 2026. Please join me in welcoming Mia to the team. Within minutes, congratulations flooded my inbox. Partners, associates, even clients who'd heard through the grapevine. At 12:47, my mother called. I answered. Sophia. Hi, Mom. She's crying again. Vanessa. She said the firm announced someone else. She's talking about suing. About going to the papers. She's saying terrible things about you. I know. A small, broken sound. Why are you doing this to us? I'm not doing anything to you. I did my job. The same way I've done it every day for years. The same way you never asked about. She started to cry quietly. I waited. When she could speak again, we're having dinner tonight. The whole family. To try to talk. Please come. I looked at the city beyond the glass. The fog was gone now. Everything sharp and bright. No, I said. I have work. I hung up. Then I opened a new email, subject line blank, and started typing to my own personal counsel just in case. The holiday season had come and gone like a storm that left only scattered wreckage behind. Mia Torres had started 6 days earlier, already walking the halls with the easy authority of someone who knew she belonged. Associates gravitated to her office. Partners scheduled strategy sessions. The litigation department's first week billables were up 14% over the prior January. Whispers of a new era had already begun. I was in the middle of a closed-door briefing with the executive team when my executive assistant, Jordan, slipped a folded note under the conference room door. He never interrupted unless it was urgent. I excused myself, stepped into the hallway, and unfolded the paper. Vanessa Hale, retained counsel. Formal demand letter received 20 minutes ago. They're threatening a lawsuit for intentional interference with prospective economic advantage, defamation, and tortious interference with contract. They want $2.8 million in damages plus punitive. Copy of the letter is on your desk. Outside counsel is already on the line in your office. I folded the note once, handed it back to Jordan without expression, and returned to the briefing long enough to say, "We'll reconvene at 2 o'clock. Something urgent came up. My office smelled faintly of fresh coffee and printer ink. The demand letter sat in the center of my desk like a coiled snake, 8 pages of single-spaced accusations, bolded headings, numbered paragraphs. They claimed I had maliciously and pretextually sabotaged Vanessa's candidacy because of personal animus stemming from a familial dispute. They alleged I had selectively applied interview standards, manufactured deficiencies in her record, and orchestrated the committee's decision through undue influence. Worst of all, they attached screenshots, Liam's Instagram posts from Thanksgiving, Vanessa smiling with the family, my mother's Facebook comment, "So proud of our future daughter-in-law," the brilliant litigator, and a grainy photo someone had snapped of me at the holiday party 2 years earlier, standing alone by the dessert table. The implication was clear: the powerful sister had used her position to punish the fiancé who dared to belittle her. They demanded I retract the hiring decision, offer Vanessa the position retroactively with back pay, issue a written apology to be published firm-wide, and pay the $2.8 million to compensate for reputational harm, emotional distress, and lost career opportunity. If I refused, they promised to file in Superior Court within 10 days and simultaneously leak the story to every major legal publication, Above the Law, Law 360, The American Lawyer, even the local business journal. I read the letter twice, then picked up the phone. Line 1, Jordan said before I could ask. Sophia Reyes. Ms. Reyes, this is Rachel Kim with Kim and Delgado. I represent Vanessa Hale. I know who you are, I said. I've read the demand. It's creative. A short, professional laugh. We prefer well-supported. The facts speak for themselves. The facts, I repeated slowly, are that Ms. Hale applied for a position she was not qualified for, performed poorly in a standardized interview, and received the same outcome any similarly situated candidate would have received. The entire process is documented. The committee's vote was unanimous. There is no interference, no defamation, no malice. There is only a disappointed applicant. Ms. Hale believes, and we intend to prove, that your personal history with her created an irreconcilable conflict of interest you failed to disclose. You should have recused yourself. I disclosed nothing because there was nothing to disclose. Ms. Hale never identified herself as my brother's fiancée during the application or screening process. She learned who I was only when she walked into the final interview. At that point, recusal would have been inappropriate and disruptive to the process. The recording shows I conducted the interview with complete impartiality. Silence on the other end, then, you're playing a dangerous game, Ms. Reyes. The court of public opinion doesn't care about technicalities. It cares about narrative. And the narrative here is powerful. A high-powered managing partner uses her position to settle a family score. The optics are terrible. I've survived terrible optics before, I said. The firm has outside counsel standing by. They'll be in touch with you by end of day. In the meantime, I suggest you advise your client to consider the long-term consequences of turning a failed job interview into a public spectacle. She still has a career ahead of her. I'd hate to see it derailed by a lawsuit that will almost certainly be dismissed on summary judgment. Rachel Kim's voice turned colder. We'll see you in court, then. The line went dead. I set the receiver down, stared at the demand letter for another 10 seconds, then pressed the intercom. Jordan, please have general counsel come up. And pull the full interview video, all scoring sheets, all emails related to the hiring process. Everything. We're going on full lockdown. Then I opened my personal email and sent a single line to my own attorney. They're coming. Prepare the countersuit draft. Defamation per se, abuse of process, intentional infliction. We're not just defending. We're counterattacking. I hit send and leaned back in my chair. Outside, the city looked calm under a thin January sun. Inside, the war had just begun. Mia Torres's first official day. The firm threw a subdued welcome reception on the 40th floor terrace, champagne flutes catching the late afternoon light, associates clustering around her like moths to a new flame, partners offering quiet handshakes that carried the weight of future rainmaking alliances. I stayed on the periphery, glass of sparkling water in hand, watching the machinery I'd designed click into place with satisfying precision. At 4:22 p.m., Jordan appeared at my elbow, phone screen already lit. Outside counsel just called. They want a response by close of business tomorrow or the complaint gets filed. They've added a new count, civil conspiracy. Claiming you and the executive committee colluded to exclude Ms. Hale because of her relationship to your brother. I took a slow sip. They're escalating the narrative. Interesting. Also, Jordan lowered his voice. Above the Law received an anonymous tip packet this morning. They're running a blind item tomorrow unless we comment. Headline draft they sent for reaction, power play or personal vendetta? Top West Coast firm rejects rising litigator amid family feud allegations. The terrace noise faded to a dull hum in my ears. I set the glass down on the nearest high top. Forward everything to my secure drive. And tell our PR team to prepare 3 scenarios, full denial, no comment, and limited on-the-record statement emphasizing process integrity. No family references. No emotion. Jordan nodded once and disappeared into the crowd. I slipped away from the reception, took the private elevator to my floor, and locked the office door behind me. The city was turning indigo outside the windows, streetlights flickering on like distant stars. I opened the secure folder. The anonymous tip packet was thorough, almost obsessive, timestamps of Liam's social media posts, screenshots of family group chats, Someone had clearly leaked them, redacted versions of Vanessa's application materials with handwritten annotations circling no supervisory experience and below-average appellate, even a blurry photo of Vanessa leaving the building after the interview, eyes red, shoulders hunched. Whoever sent it knew exactly how to weaponize optics. At 5:47 p.m., my personal line rang. Unknown caller. I answered. Sophia Reyes. A woman's voice, younger than Rachel Kim's, nervous but determined. This is Claire Nguyen. I'm a reporter with Above the Law. We received materials suggesting a managing partner at Sterling and Hale blocked a highly qualified candidate for head of litigation because the applicant is engaged to her brother. Can you confirm or deny the allegation? I leaned against the edge of my desk. I don't comment on personnel matters, Ms. Nguyen. You know that. We're running the story tomorrow either way. A denial would be better than silence. Silence was never better. Silence was blood in the water. I spoke slowly, each word measured. Sterling and Hale maintains the highest standards of merit-based hiring. All department head positions are filled through a rigorous, multi-stage process involving standardized interviews, independent committee review, and documented evaluation criteria. The decision regarding any candidate is based solely on qualifications and fit for the role. We stand by that process. A brief pause. And the family connection? There is no family connection relevant to any hiring decision at this firm. She tried once more. Sources say the interview was unusually hostile. That the managing partner knew the candidate personally and used the opportunity to settle a score. Sources can say whatever sells clicks, I said evenly. The video exists. It's available to any court that subpoenas it. Until then, I have nothing further. I ended the call. Then I opened my email and typed a single message to Rachel Kim, CCING, our outside counsel. Ms. Kim. Your client's demand is without merit. The firm will vigorously defend any action filed and will pursue all available counterclaims, including defamation per se, abuse of process, and tortious interference. We have preserved all evidence, including the full interview recording, committee minutes, and communications. Should Ms. Hale proceed, we will seek recovery of legal fees, reputational damages, and injunctive relief barring further public dissemination of false statements. This is your final opportunity to withdraw the demand before close of business tomorrow. Sophia Reyes. I hit send. At 7:19 p.m., Liam texted. They're filing tomorrow. Vanessa's done talking to me. She says if I don't publicly support her, we're over. She's asking me to go on record that you've always hated her and that this was payback. I stared at the message until the screen dimmed. Then I typed back one line. Then you'll have to choose which family you want to stand with. I powered the phone off. Outside, the city lights burned brighter now, cold and unblinking. Tomorrow the story would break. Tomorrow the war would move from conference rooms to headlines. And tomorrow, I would be ready. The story dropped at 7:14 a.m. Pacific Time. Above the Law ran it under the headline. Family feud at the top? Sterling and Hale managing partner accused of tank job in high-profile litigation hire. The piece was careful, loaded with qualifiers like according to sources close to the matter, and the firm declined to comment on specifics, but the subhead did the real damage. Anonymous documents allege conflict of interest, personal grudge and rejection of candidate engaged to manager's brother. They published the blind item version of the Thanksgiving photos, pixelated just enough to avoid immediate defamation claims but clear enough that anyone who knew the family would recognize the players. Vanessa's poised smile next to Liam's arm around her shoulder. My mother beaming in the background. A single line buried in paragraph 6, the managing partner, who has never been photographed publicly with family, allegedly conducted the final interview herself. By 8:03 a.m., Law 360 had picked it up. By 8:41, the American lawyer tweeted a link with the caption, "When family drama meets big law hiring." My inbox exploded. Clients asking for discreet calls. Partners sending cautious one-liners, anything we need to know? Associates whispering in the hallways. The PR team fielded 17 media requests before noon. I stayed in my office, door closed, blinds half drawn, reviewing the damage in real time. At 11:27 a.m., Jordan buzzed. Rachel Kim on line 1. She says it's urgent. I picked up. Ms. Reyes, Rachel began, tone clipped and satisfied. I assume you've seen the coverage. I have. Good. Then you understand the position you're in. The court of public opinion has already decided. We're prepared to file the complaint this afternoon unless we can reach a settlement. My client is willing to walk away for $1.4 million, half the original demand, plus a confidential non-disparagement agreement and a neutral reference letter for future employers. I let the offer hang for 3 full seconds. No, I said. A surprised breath on the other end. You're making a mistake. The longer this story lives, the more it erodes trust. Clients hate uncertainty. Partners hate headlines. Clients trust results, I replied. And results are what this firm delivers. If they leave because of a failed applicant's press campaign, they were never loyal to begin with. As for partners, they've seen me rebuild this place from near collapse. They know who I am. Rachel's voice hardened. You're gambling with your reputation. I'm not gambling. I'm standing on evidence. The moment your client files, we'll file our countersuit the same day. Defamation per se, abuse of process, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and, new this morning, tortious interference with business expectancy. We have affidavits from every member of the executive committee confirming no undue influence was exerted. We have the complete, unedited interview video. We have metadata proving the anonymous tip packet originated from an IP address registered to a VPN account linked to Vanessa's personal email. Silence then, quieter, you're bluffing. Check the filing queue in Superior Court at 4 p.m., I said. You'll see. I ended the call. At 2:19 p.m., Liam appeared in the lobby unannounced. Security called up. I told them to let him through. He stormed into my office without knocking, face flushed, eyes red-rimmed. You're destroying everything, he said the second the door shut. I stayed seated. Sit down, Liam. I'm not here to sit. Vanessa's a wreck. She can't sleep. She's talking about moving back east. And now the whole internet thinks you're some kind of tyrant who punishes people for hurting your feelings. She chose to make this public. She had no choice. You humiliated her, then blackballed her career. I evaluated her qualifications. The same way I evaluate everyone. He slammed both palms on my desk. You could have recused yourself. You could have given her a break. You could have acted like family for once in your damn life. I looked up at him slowly. Family, I repeated. The same family that never once asked what I actually did for a living? The same family that posted 8 photos of your graduation and 1 blurry shot of mine? The same family that called my job behind-the-scenes stuff while toasting the real lawyers in the room? His mouth opened, closed. I stood, walked around the desk, and stopped just close enough that he had to meet my eyes. You want to talk about family? Fine. Here's the truth. I built this place. I saved it from collapse. I created every one of the systems that let partners like you take home 7-figure draws while you chase sales quotas and pretend it's the same thing. And the first time someone from that family walks through my door asking for special treatment, they expect me to bend the rules I spent 15 years enforcing. He looked away first. She's going to file, he said quietly. Today. Then let her. He left without another word. At 3:58 p.m., the clerk's office timestamp showed Vanessa Hale's complaint filed, 32 pages of venom wrapped in legal language. At 4:07 p.m., our countersuit landed, 41 pages, 7 causes of action, and a demand for $4.2 million in damages plus fees. The war was no longer contained to emails and phone calls. It was now public record. And as the sun dropped behind the skyline, I opened my laptop one last time that day and began drafting the internal firm memo. Subject: Recent media coverage, statement of facts. It began with 4 simple words. We do not settle for less. March 12, 2026. The countersuit detonated like a precision strike. Within 48 hours of filing, Rachel Kim's firm blinked. Vanessa's complaint vanished from the docket, voluntarily dismissed with prejudice. No settlement. No apology. Just a quiet retreat as our evidence pile crushed their narrative. The unedited interview video leaked to the court showed zero hostility, only razor-sharp questions met with evasive answers. Committee affidavits painted a meritocracy, not a conspiracy. The IP trace on the tip packet? Traced straight to Vanessa's home router, torching her anonymous sources' claim. Above the law ran a follow-up: litigator's big lawsuit implodes, family feud or failed bluff? The comments shredded her: entitlement meets reality. Client inquiries? They doubled, drawn to the firm's unyielding spine. Liam and Vanessa split a week later. Mom's tearful voicemail: she's gone, Sophia. Blames us all. Liam's a mess, says he finally sees how we overlooked you. Dad called next, voice stripped bare: we read the filings. Your bio and the response. Harvard Law, turned 3 firms around, Forbes twice. I didn't know the half of it. I met them for coffee in my building's executive lounge. No please, just questions, walk us through the rebuild. I did, for 2 hours. They listened, eyes widening at tales of 9-figure rescues, partner poaches, win rate surges from 62% to 89%. You're not just managing a firm, Dad muttered. You're running an empire. Family shifted, tectonic but real. Mom started texting about my cases. That merger you mentioned, did it close? Liam showed up at my office uninvited, cap in hand. I was blind. Sophomore posted my sales crap while you built this. Teach me, consulting gig? I handed him an entry-level analyst role in our business development team. Earn it, I said. He nodded, no grudge. Mia Torres transformed litigation. Q1 billables shattered records, landing 3 Fortune 100 clients poached from rivals. The firm rocketed to number 3 in regional rankings. My compensation? $562,000 base jumped to $728,000 as executive chair, with equity vesting at $1.7 million. Forbes profiled me again: Sophia Reyes, the Iron Lady who lawyered big law back to dominance. The photo? Me at my desk, City at my back, no family shadows. I stood on my condo's balcony that night, skyline pulsing below like a heartbeat I'd tamed. No more invisibility. No more behind the scenes. I was Sophia Reyes, JD, the architect of victories, the gatekeeper of excellence. Vanessa? Landed a senior associate spot at a mid-tier firm, grinding quality metrics, her research portfolio beefing up. Word was, she cited our interview as her wake-up call. Good. Careers forged in fire last. Liam posted our first sibling photo in years: dinner at my place, him toasting to the boss I never knew I had. Caption: #FamilyReboot #RealPowerMoves. Comments poured in, thousands. My family saw me now. But the mirror reflection? That was the real win. Drained loans, unbreakable boundaries, a legacy etched in case law and balance sheets. They dismissed the desk jockey. I became the queen who checked every mate. And in that empire, I finally rested easy, impressed most by the woman who'd risen alone.